Since the dawn of mankind, we've been amazed with the magic of flight and marveled at the grace of things that fly. In the thousands of years of human history, flight was rarely little more than a dream until the 19th century, when experiments with gliders and studies in aerodynamics led at last to the historic moment in 1903, when the Wright brothers achieved powered, sustained, piloted flight over Kitty Hawk. In the relatively brief time since that momentous event, mankind's aeronautical progress has been nothing less than incredible, achieving speeds many times that of sound, and actually leaving our planet altogether and going to the moon and beyond. It is interesting to note that while this progress involved efforts from around the globe, there seem to be a handful of areas where aviation has made quantum leaps in its evolution and continues to this day. North Texas is such an area of remarkable progress and rich history. The North Texas Association of Aviation Museums, or Notaam, is dedicated to unlocking the mysteries of flight and revealing the fascinating history of aviation to the people of North Texas. The member organizations offer a broad spectrum of programs that suit varied audiences, from traditional classroom education to hands-on flight experience. Jan Calmer flies in air shows around the country. He is also president of the Frontiers of Flight Museum in Dallas and typifies the Notaam philosophy of involving young people in aviation.
My idea is to stimulate young people, not so much for aviation. Use aviation as a tool so that they get more interested in science, more interested in mathematics, more interested in completing high school, completing college, and being somebody, because they can. But first you got to have a goal and you have to have a vision. And one of the things lacking in our society these days is the proper kind of goal or vision. You see the drug lords being used as role models. That's the wrong kind of role model. We need other kinds of jobs, whether it be flying or otherwise. But flying is so visible, kids get so caught up in it. And if they'll just turn that into anything constructive, it's clear that drugs, alcohol, and blowing away your life is not consistent with aviation anyway. And so those that we get in the military, we get in the airlines, we get in the mechanics area, get them to build models, doesn't matter. If they'll do anything in aviation, it will help them in their life. And I see it over and over and over.
The evolution of aviation and its later growth into space has been profoundly influenced by the contributions made in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and North Texas. Even a brief survey reveals the critical contributions in aircraft operations, production and modification of aircraft that helped to mold and develop aviation in the United States. This area was one of America's primary training bases for the First World War. Many of our country's first airlines, including Delta, Braniff, American, and Southwest, have roots here. During the Second World War, we continued to train pilots throughout the area. Pilots came here to learn to fly from England, Canada, France, and several Latin American countries. Aviation and aerospace companies that have been based here are a veritable who's who of aviation history. Companies such as Lockheed, Vought, North American, Consolidated, Convair, General Dynamics, and Bell Helicopter. Some of the greatest aircraft in history were designed or manufactured here. Few other areas of the United States can claim anything near these contributions to aviation and aerospace. Combined, they form a rich and diverse historic legacy for North Texas. The members of Notaam are preserving this legacy for future generations with displays such as models and restored aircraft at the Village Flying Museum, restoration activities at Kavanaugh and Vaught, uniforms and art at C.R. Smith, dirigible items at Frontiers of Flight, and static displays at Carswell and Pate. There is much more to Notaam than museum exhibits, however. In fact, Notaam is fun, with activities such as the Vintage Flying Museum's Hangar Dance, the Frontiers of Flight air shows, the Pioneers of Aviation showcased in numerous venues sponsored by Notaam members. In addition, Notaam is good for business. In the last decade, over 2 million people have taken advantage of programs and activities presented or sponsored by Notaam members. Although most of these people live and work here, the Metroplex and its aviation attractions are destinations for visitors from out of state and around the world because we are internationally known for the wealth of aviation treasures concentrated here. And while they visit, these visitors add dollars to the local economy. No tax money is used to bring all this fun, excitement, and learning to the people of North Texas and the world. We are a great investment for local communities, convention and visitors bureaus, and business. Notaam, the North Texas Association of Aviation Museums, is the key to unlocking the treasures of aviation history in North Texas. Each organization is capable of providing a variety of programs or even of building a presentation for a specific audience. The American Airlines C.R. Smith Museum in Fort Worth houses hundreds of historical artifacts, photographs, full-scale aircraft engines, and the rare Douglas DC-3 flagship Knoxville. Their iWorks Theater presents Americans' history every 30 minutes. The museum also displays many interactive exhibits. They also offer group tours and special education programs. The Kavanaugh Flight Museum in Addison owns one of the finest flying collections of warbirds in the United States, from the 125-mile-an-hour Sopwith Camel to the Mach 2 MiG-21. The aircraft can often be seen flying at the Addison Airport or at local and regional air shows. They also offer tours and special custom programs. The Frontiers of Flight Museum's collection of memorabilia and photographs covers aviation from pre-Wright aeronautics to the present. The collection of hundreds of artifacts includes personal items from pioneers like Admiral Richard Byrd and Glenn Curtis, to China from the Hindenburg, and even a spacesuit. This Love Field Museum also produces the annual Dallas Air Show, as well as focus night lectures and other special events and educational programs. The University of Texas History of Aviation Collection in Dallas houses one of the world's finest aerospace reference libraries. It consists of over 30,000 volumes, several 100,000 periodicals and photographs covering the spectrum of flight from pre-Wright aeronautics to the present. Special sections of the collection include the Rosenthal Lighter Than Air Collection, the Air America Archives, and the Jimmy Doolittle Library. The Pate Museum of Transportation, located near Crescent, has an eclectic collection of many aircraft from post-World War II through the Vietnam era. The memorabilia collection includes an extraordinary display of aircraft engines and parts. The Vintage Flying Museum at Meacham Field is a flying museum featuring Chucky, the B-17 Flying Fortress. As an FAA Aviation Education Resource Center, they make educational materials and programs available to children and adults. They produce Take Flight Days, Aviation Career Education Academies, and their famous 1940s-style Big Band Hangar Dance, all in their historic World War II B-29 hangar. The Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth is located at the former Carswell Air Force Base site. The base houses a unique collection of 15 display aircraft, including an F-16, F-4, F-14, F-86, and others. The base also sponsors one of the Metroplex's largest air shows. Tours can be arranged through the Public Affairs Office. The OV-10 Bronco Association is a new museum dedicated to the forward air controllers and the community of operators of the North American Rockwell OV-10 Bronco observation aircraft. The association's world headquarters and displays are housed with the Vintage Flying Museum. The association sponsors a biannual Bronco Fest as a worldwide gathering for the OV-10 community and other interested people. The DFW wing of the Confederate Air Force is located at the Lancaster Airport. Numerous original and flyable World War II aircraft are on display, along with a collection of memorabilia and artifacts. Aircraft from this living memorial can often be seen at local air shows and other museum events. The Women Air Force Service Pilots Archive is located at the Texas Women's University Library in Denton. This official WASP collection includes personal papers, letters, orders, photographs, and oral histories, and is on display in the library's rare book reading room. Founders Plaza is located at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. This open park is dedicated to the builders of DFW Airport and is an excellent place to photograph and observe airport operations. The Federal Aviation Administration Aviation Education Program Manager, Southwest Region, is a major contributor to education programs across the Metroplex. They have an extensive assortment of reference literature, instructional booklets, teaching aids, and other aviation education resources. They can also assist in producing custom programs for teachers and educators. This brief overview of some of the Notaam members barely scratches the surface of what these and other organizations in the Metroplex have to offer. By contacting a Notaam member, you can unlock the treasures of aviation history and education resources in North Texas. And it's easy. Just visit the FAA Aviation Education Department-sponsored website for details of each Notaam member and other valuable information. Or just click on www.notam.org.
For more than a decade, Frontiers of Flight and other museums of the North Texas Association of Aviation Museums have been preserving the treasures of aviation. Their educational programs have served thousands of children and adults in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're making the wonders of aviation available to all the children and the public in our area. The dedication and support of hundreds of volunteers make this possible. Your support helps bring these unique programs to Texans and make them available to a larger audience. Frontiers of Flight and its sister organizations are a resource for all of us and can only grow stronger with our backing.
The year 2003 will mark the 100th anniversary of the Wright brothers' flight at Kitty Hawk. All across the nation, celebrations, festivals, and reenactments are being planned to commemorate this historic event. The members of Notaam want to provide a celebration of our own, but we need you. We need your gift of time, money, and resources to continue unlocking the treasures of aviation for the people of North Texas and make the Wright celebration a landmark special event here in North Texas. You can become involved by contacting a Notaam member today.